Okay.
Won't be a moment.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for bragging. Oh, did you hear that?
What?
He said, what?
I didn't. What was that? They were talking to you there. Back with you once again at the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway. 40 cars preparing for competition this afternoon. 150 miles to be run. Big purse for these drivers in a series that's looking for more races. And they have some really talented people. Let's meet them as they line up and get set to take the green here in the Wiscassett 150, named for a fiber, a yarn that's used in fireproof racing uniforms. The starting lineup today: it'll be Mark Cox on the pole, Longhorn Stakes Chevy. He was outside last year for this race. Tim Hepler has come through in second spot for the start. He'll be driving another Chevrolet. Going to row number 2, there's Jerry Knowles. He comes from Tyrone, Georgia. He's driving a Pontiac. And Tim Bender. There have been 2 races in this series on this track. He's the champion snowmobile racer that's won them both. In row 3, watch this guy, Bobby Faggart. He used to work on the grounds crew here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a story he is. He worked there about a year and a half. Now he's out here as a racer where he's always wanted to be. He's an outstanding driver at the Concord Speedway in North Carolina. And there's young Todd Bodine outside of row 3, the third of the Bodine brothers. Going to row 4 today, there's Richie Petty. That's Maurice Petty's son going into action. And beside him comes T.W. Taylor from Chester, Virginia. For row number 5 this afternoon, it'll be Pete Pistone. There's another old racing name. And alongside is Gary Bradbury. For row 6, Robert Huffman and Tim Roberts. Going to row number 7, there you have Terry Sawyer and Scott Jocham. In row 8, Kurt Shelmerdine from the crew of Dale Earnhardt and Peter Gibbons. In row number 9, you have Ward Burton, a real outstanding competitor in this series, Jerry Rector. Then comes Lane Dale in row 10 and Dale Anderson. Going to row 11, there you have Charles Trentham and Marty Ward. Row 12 will be Dennis Setzer and Junior Franks. In the 13th row is Richard Jarvis today and Mike Skinner. Row 14 is Doug Saunders and Clete Tissett. For row 15, Dennis Pash and William Hobgood. Row 16 is Robert Bushler and Kerry Teague, no relation to Brad Teague. Bill Metzger is in row 17 and Neil Cannell, row 18. And get this, and he really is on Earp of the old Wyatt Earp days. Wyatt Earp the 4th and Lynn Gibson in row 18. Then the provisional starters out here would be Tom Sherrill and Edward Gardner as they get set to go.
Well, I'm sure Wyatt Earp has been in a lot of shootouts, and this one better get ready because they're fixing to start firing some at him.
All right. So the field is organized and we're underway. Terry Sawyer on the inside of row number 7. Here's the posted awards. Weather staying right about in the 70s. Cloud cover, medium at the present time. Race record by Tim Bender in '89 at 153 mile-an-hour average, and that's cranking.
That's pretty good for these cars. You're talking about 2-barrel carburetors. These guys are getting around the racetrack.
Remind you that coming up on Saturday, here on most of these same systems, be with us for the Champion Spark Plug 300. It's a grand national racing NASCAR style with all those great stars like Chuck Bound, Jimmy Hensley, Houston. They'll all be here against many of the great Winston Cup superstars. That's on Saturday afternoon. You'll see it live. Check your local listings for time. Champion Spark Plug 300, which they run in 2 segments. I kind of like that. A lot of the drivers don't.
Well, I don't think the drivers like it because it gives the other, if you got an edge on a guy and he gets to regroup at halftime and then he comes after you again, but it makes a lot more interesting show for the fans.
So we're down to 1 more lap, and there maybe 2 more laps. I see the light still on the pace car. It may be another time around before they turn it loose here today.
I'll tell you what, I was going to listen when this thing started. Seeing the last couple of races, I want to say if they said start your engines or let's get ready to rumble. These guys have been banging around for 2 weeks up here racing. They're ready to go.
That's a very interesting length of track. Somehow it's grown a mile.
I think I went that route a time or two.
It's a 1.5 mile track here today and a 21-degree turn. As the field gets ready to shake it out here this afternoon in this 150-mile go. We'll be with you all the way through it. See if Mark Cox can finally win one. As we said last year, he started outside the front row and he led a long time in this race before he fell back. But the guy you really want to watch for is Tim Bender on the outside of row 4. Here's the snowmobile champion from up in New York State, and he just keeps on coming on. But I'll tell you the guy they're going to have to deal with. He's already won 2 main events this year. That Robbie Baggert from Concord, North Carolina, the Perfection Plus Chevrolet. That guy just looks like a racer. He loved racing so much he would do anything to get into Charlotte Motor Speedway, so he worked here for a while. He was in charge of moving tons of dirt as they continue construction that goes on around this racetrack. He does not like to be called the person that mowed the lawn, but the guy sitting next to you is going to say, I had him mow the lawn. Let's go to Charlie.
This Wiscassett 150 is so called because it's 150 pounds and about 150 laps. And I talked to a number of drivers about whether the fuel consumption would allow them to go all the way without a pit stop. Nobody would tell me definitely that they could do that. However, as you heard Tim Hepler say just a few minutes ago, they might try it, again they might not. I talked to Richie Petty this morning, Richard's nephew, son of Maurice, and I said, can you go all the way? If there is a yellow, would you come in for fuel? And he said, no, maybe not, because track position is even more important than getting some extra fuel. So it's something of a gamble. It may come down to the very last lap or 2 of this race before we find out whether they can indeed go 150 miles on 1 tank of fuel. Tim?
What do you think, Neil, with a 2-barrel carburetor?
Again, it's kind of a reverse cycle. The guys that run real fast are going to burn a lot of fuel. They're just getting a better mixture with their car. They're going to use a lot of gas. In turn, some guy back there in 5th or 6th place, maybe not have the power, could go the distance. It's going to be a gamble.
Here they come, down for the start. The first of 100 laps, 150 miles, about to get turned loose. Cox, that brilliant red car on the pole, goes right out in front in a hurry. Trying to stay with him. Further back in the field, here's Gold trying to make his move. Tim Bender staying right there in position as they hit the back straightaway. Going down into turn number 3. Further back in the field. Good struggle going on. Here's Bender making his move on the bottom of the racetrack. The New York driver in number 19 almost to the side of that second place runner, Tim Hepler, as they come around and they have 1 lap under their belts. Closing ground. Down they come to the stripe another time, and on the bottom of the racetrack, the white car, number 66, Jerry Knowles, knows it's in there. That drops Hepler from the outside of the front row back to 4th. Here's the 19, Bender takes another shot, making it 3 wins out of 4 races on this track in this new and exciting series. Coming around a complete lap number 3. Bender closing ground in the 19. Whoa, 31. Cox is loose. 3 wide as they come down to the line. And we've got a crash up here in turn number 4. Big time. 1, 2, 3. Shelverdine's car getting ripped up out there. Several other cars. There's at least 10 cars all the way down from turn 4 nearly to the start-finish line. Machinery getting ripped apart. Take your choice as to where it was. It was all over the place. As the leaders came to the line, trying for 3 wide behind them, things got a little hairy.
Yeah, we were talking through the garage area this morning, and these guys, the car got loose coming off the 4th turn here. And what happens at this racetrack is limited vision off that corner. They see a guy spin, then the guys behind him start locking it up. These guys aren't wrecked back here till they see the accident and get on the brakes, and they can't get the car stopped and lose control of them. They just keep stacking up off of that corner.
One of the worst victims was one of the last cars in it. The car is still up against the wall down here, and the ambulance is there with him after a very hard hit. Now here you see the number 86. At least 12 cars involved. That's Dennis Pash out of Auburndale, Wisconsin. And here you see some of that machinery stacked up against the wall. There's 3 down below us, 1 further up the track, all sandwiched into the outside barrier here. This happening in lap number 3. The field now completing 4 laps. We'll be back with more as we're under caution from a multi-car accident in the opening laps of the Wiscassett Sportsman 150.
See that? There was about 4 of them spun at the same time, so they got the tires hot.
Yeah. Okay, I needed a numerical. I need a numerical again. A numerical. Do you have another? Do we have another numerical? Yes, it is.
I've got one.
Yeah, this is the right one.
No, it's not. That's not what you need. Okay, I need a list on all of them. Can we have that?
Red flag.
Okay, we have a red flag condition.
Rob, you hearing me all right? I'm hearing myself all right now.
We have a red flag condition. Can we get one of those RF cameras out on the main straightaway? Can we get either Ralph or the other one out to these cars? Where's the rest of them? It was helter-skelter out of turn number 4 in the Wiscassett 150. 4 cars are still against the wall. Kurt Shelmerdine's car, the car of Dale Anderson out of Denton, North Carolina, the T.W. Taylor car from Chester, Virginia, the Terry Sawyer machine from Melbourne, Australia, all sandwiched into the outside barrier here, and we have a red flag condition with 4 laps complete, and they're still removing those cars from the outside of the track. Apparently no injuries have been sustained. The crews are out there. Terry Sawyer, T.W. Taylor, Anderson's cars all out, and several others spun. We can take a look again as we watch car number 74 being removed. That's the Terry Sawyer car. Let's look again. Everybody seemed to break loose at once, like tires.
Even at the same time these two were braking, there was cars behind it already out of control. And it was a unique situation that came up this week. They ran their race last week. They had so many cars in the race, they ran out of tires. They went to a Daytona tire for a backup for them here. And these tires are real, real hard, and they're a little bit harder to drive. And it might be part of the reason these guys got their hands full like they have.
There's so many spinning at once. You saw the number 17, the Frank's car, looping up there as well. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Ken, we're standing down here with T.W. Taylor, who started this race off in 8th. And T.W., what happened out there?
Well, we were all running real close together, and I was kind of pulling up beside the 78 car coming out of the turn over there, and we kind of bumped going in the back straightaway. And as we went to the turn down there, Petey used that, Pistone used that opportunity to get by me, and when he popped up in front of me, I had to get off the gas real fast. When you let off the gas too fast, the car comes around on you, and couldn't get it back.
Well, it was a great start for you. It's got to be one of your most frustrating days, I would think.
Yeah, everybody, the crew, and everybody's worked so hard, and all of a sudden you're sitting here, and it's real anticlimactic. It's real bad.
Well, Ken, this guy, you can be sure, we'll be back.
Ward Burton's car is in trouble from this incident. Tom Sherrill's car has crashed as well. And the Shelmerdine car now being towed away. That one really took a hit.
It looks like one of Earnhardt's after a short track race. I believe he borrowed that one from Dale. That
Here's
thing
Ralph
really
Shaheen
did take
again.
a lick.
Yeah. Ralph?
Ken, we're down here with Kirk Shelmerdine now. Kirk, what's your side of this?
Well, I don't know. They were crashing when I got there. I thought maybe I could weave through a hole or two there, but there's cars were going back and forth across the racetrack, and one of them came back and hit the wall right in front of me, and I pretty much nailed him. And I got nailed too. So it's one of those deals where it just piled up.
You feeling all right? The car looks pretty bad.
Car's pretty bad. I'm fine.
Kirk Shelmerdine is going to go back and prepare now for Sunday in Dale Earnhardt.
Well, let's talk about the cars that were beaten up in that and go down through the list. And the good news is it doesn't look like anyone has sustained any injury from this incident. Bill Metzger's number 0 out of New York was involved. The Kurt Shelmerdine car you just saw. Dennis Setzer's machine was in trouble there. The 17 car of Junior Franks was also involved, as was the number 86, the Dennis Pash car. The 88 car, which is Neil Cannell's machine. The 62 has been taken back behind the wall. Ward Burton's car, they're trying to get that one back out here as well. The Dale Anderson car was crashed. The T.W. Taylor car, Wyatt Earp's machine, Terry Sawyer's car, in all some 13 in this incident, which has brought out a red flag at the start.
Well, there was 13 lost, but we're still lucky, as tangled as it was off turn 4, to get some more cars through without losing a lot more.
Here's the 24 car being brought back in. That's the Dale Anderson machine from Denton, North Carolina. Here's Charlie Harville.
I've got Ward Burton of South Boston, Virginia, who was involved in the wreck. Are you all right, Ward?
Yes, sir, I'm fine.
What happened?
Well, some of the guys in front of me just lost it. I don't know if they got together or not. I was just sitting back there biding my time. I think I'd picked off 5 or 6 positions, and we were going to the front, but this class is generated so people get experience, but the problem is some of the guys haven't got enough experience to even run a late model stock race, and they want to go to the front in the first lap, and that's why that we have long races, so we have ample time to get up front, and it's just a shame. I'm sorry for Bobby Temple and Jimmy Bailey, my car owners, and everybody's put out a lot of effort, but that's racing.
Ward Burton, thanks very much. Glad you're okay. I guess the car will not be back in the race.
No, sir, I think it's pretty well shot for today.
That's Ward Burton, South Boston, Virginia, through for the day.
I predict someday you're going to see that Ward Burton in Grand National, even Winston Cup. He's a slick guy and he's a good racer. Well, we're under red here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 4 laps have been officially completed before this 13-car melee brought it to a halt.
Yes. Yeah, well, okay, they've checked it a couple of times and changed the battery one time, and I don't know what else. Are you hearing me okay? All right, I know why. I think I've got a loose connection here at the bottom, and I'm holding it in place. We get a little tape to put on it. I think we'll be better off.
Okay.
I will indeed.
Sir.
Oh, all right. I'm trying to look with Jeff Bodine. I know.
Okay. What did you
Said they
say,
were all
Neil?
concerned they were so hard that when they pushed them that they got away from them.
Who said that to you?
I'm hearing them in the truck. Yes, Mr. Mike, can't think of it.
I'm trying to embarrass you.
Call it timeout.
Back with you with the Wiscassett 150 live this afternoon on Prime Network. After 4 laps are under caution, a 13-car incident has taken place at turn number 4, and they're still picking up machinery from that accident. There you see the Kurt Shelmerdine car back, and it looks like it has had a very hard day.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, these guys come to Charlotte to learn how to race and learn how to run super speedways. It's a learning experience, and that's the part that you don't want to learn, how bad you can wipe out a race car.
Interesting to me that Shelmerdine is doing it only so he has a better sense about what it is that his man, Dale Earnhardt, whoever is in the cockpit, is having to deal with out there. And he is a thorough student of it, and I think he also likes to race.
Well, I think he used that as a good excuse to do that. But it's a good insight on what that driver goes through. You know, the guys always are trying to tell you need to do this to the car, is the car doing this? But until you've been under those conditions, the heat, the noise, the rattling around, it sounds like the engine's going to blow up every lap, and then they're trying to communicate on the radio, it gives Kirk a little bit more insight on the feel of the race car, when it doesn't need more spring, does it need less shock, stuff like that. So I think him and Dale are communicating a lot better now.
Well, the last of the cars which were in the incident are now being removed from the track, and with that, I think we're going to be back to a green very shortly. This was another one of the cars up against the wall that's being removed now, and as soon as it is, these cars up in turn number 4 will be back underway. Let's take a look in replay again at what brought this situation about, Neil.
Well, when it came off the corner, the car loose was in the bottom below the line. You saw him sideways. He was actually sideways before he got to that point of the racetrack. And this car's wrecking here were wrecked 200 yards on back down the racetrack. You're seeing the aftermath of, they lost the car back in the middle of the corner. And the minute these guys touch the brakes, the cars are going to turn around. You can have driver meetings with the rookies, with Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, or anybody. You can't tell a guy what it's like, that you shouldn't mash that brake pedal, you shouldn't do this, you got to be gentle what you do. The only way you learn is in the heat of battle, and these guys are learning the tough way right now.
T.W. Taylor's car has been picked up. It's going back by, and there you see the number 24 machine. Boy, there's some heavy abuse out here. There's Dale Anderson's car. Here's Charlie Harvey.
With Jeff Bodine, whose younger brother Todd is running in the race and attempting to join his 2 elder brothers in Winston Cup someday. Did you see what happened, Jeff?
Yeah, just one of those fellas crossed up coming off turn 4 and spun around, and then another couple run into him. One of those things, you know, those things happen. If you start in the back of the pack in the beginning of a race, that can happen. Fortunately, Todd was ahead of that. He started in, what, 6th position, so he's running 5th right now, looking good out there.
Is this a good series in which the men can get experience to drive in Winston Cup later on?
It really is, because they're driving the same cars that we drive. They bought some of our old cars, Winston Cup, Busch Grand National. So they're riding in exactly what we ride in, and basically the same tires that Goodyear furnishes them. The only one difference is they have a little less horsepower, or quite a bit less. So it keeps their speed down. It isn't quite as much a handful for them it is for us. So it is a good way for them to learn, to get experience on a super speedway like here at Charlotte. And you know, the race the other day was really exciting, and this one's shaping up to be a good one too.
I've asked you many times why you like to win poles and why you like to be in front. I think we just saw an example of it here.
It's a good example why you need to start in the front. Anytime, anywhere, it can save you from getting in a wreck like we just saw.
What about the tires? Has Todd said anything to you about the fact they were using softer tires last week than the ones they brought in for this race?
No, his car is handling really good. It ran good last year here, and he hasn't said much. He said the car's a little tight right now. It's pushing. The front end doesn't want to turn real good for him, but I think after he runs some laps, get everything hot, Brett and I both feel like the car will come in and he'll be okay.
How did you feel about your qualifying effort today? You qualified 13th for the Winston Cup race on Sunday.
Oh, you know, no, we'd rather be first, but the competition is so strong, and we really picked up a lot with our car from practice through practice and then into qualifying, so we feel pretty good about it. It wasn't that far off. Dale Earnhardt only beat me by 1/1000th of a second, so we're right in there, and the car does feel good, so we'll have a good race setup. And you know, after qualifying's over with, don't ask me about qualifying. That's history. We're thinking about the World 600 right now.
That's Jeff Bodine looking forward to Sunday.
There you see some of the marks from some of those participants who found the wall here at Charlotte. You were talking a moment ago, Neil Bonnet, about the use of brakes out here, and I know that Dick Beatty is so conscious of making sure that rookie drivers in Winston Cup get a sense, and I know that these boys were lectured long and heavy before this event about what you do out here, but talking it and doing it are two separate things. You've been one of the people instrumental in rookie meetings for 2 or 3 years and never got much credit for it, but what do you tell people about what do you look out for in a situation like this?
Well, what I always try to tell the guys is when you get into a problem like the guys, the wreck had happened. There was a wreck up in front of them, and then it started just multiplying back behind them. Don't give up with your race car. When you drive in there and you say, man, there's a wreck, I'm going to lock up all 4 tires, I'm going to get this thing slowed down. Well, when you lock those tires up, there's virtually no control of it. The thing to do is keep driving that race car. Slow it down as much as possible without sliding the wheels. Don't give up. You know, everybody used to say just turn the wheel left, lock all 4 wheels up, and slide to the apron. You can't aim that thing with those wheels locked up. I try to get the guys to drive the car through the wreck, use knowledgeable, their ability to drive cars to get it through the accident. Just close your eyes and lock the brakes up. And these guys, if you'll look down in this corner right now, the skid marks are way back before the accident. The wrecks happened, they lock the brakes up, but it's a natural instinct when you see something like that just to jab those brakes on. But when you do, you're asking for, not only do you lock your brakes up, the guy behind you all of a sudden rams you in the rear.
He's going to drop kick you.
He's going to drop kick you, and then the guy behind there does it, and it's a chain reaction. We saw a chain reaction that happened with 50 and 60-yard gaps in between it, just from the guy in front locking them up. So they just got to learn to be gentle with that race car and just not cramming brakes on real hard.
It's like driving on ice. It's the same situation.
Exactly.
Everything says to you, I've got to get on the brakes and I've got to stop it, and usually that's what puts you in the ditch and out of commission.
Anyone that's ever done that, the minute they finally think about all they've been taught to take the foot off the brake, the car turns. It'll turn with those wheels rolling. It won't with them sliding.
We'll be back with more of the Wiscassett 150. We're getting down towards a restart of the event with 4 laps complete after a 13-car crash in just a moment.
Hello to the NEP Super Shooter 5 guys. That's Joe Stausick.
Huh?
Yeah. You know that even that wreck happened there in the bottom. The other guy above had already broke loose and was hitting that other guy. I believe they're going to have trouble. I might be wrong. The tire stuff's going to be a mess up on it.
Yes. Who is that talking to us? Patty. Just now. I heard this voice saying hello to the Star Shooter and Joe Stosick and all that. Where was that coming from?
Yeah, but they were playing with me. I'm scatterbrained. Look at how many of them are damaged.
Okay, who among those that now comes in with this? Dale is in. And the Setzer is in.
They'll be able to set
On the
it up.
restart, you need just to ISO the back of this field. You just ISO about the last 10 cars, and you need to be wide over the front 3 or 4 up in front, Patty. Thank you.
Got to be able to sell all the old Winston Cup cars again next week.
Pardon?
There'll be a market for Winston Cup cars again next week.
We're running again in the Wiscassett 150 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, coming to you live on Prime Cable today after an exciting day of qualifying. That's Ken Schrader, snooker him. He pulled out a lap for Rick Hendrick that gives him the pole and a new record for the single lap in qualifying at over 173 miles per hour. Breaks Davey Allison's old mark. And Alan Kowicki did a terrific job to get second place. Here in the Wiscassett event, if you're just joining us, getting home from work around America, we've had a serious calamity. 13 cars. The drivers came out okay, but a lot of equipment has been ripped up, torn apart in this event. And now with the red flag being lifted. We're back under caution. These are counting laps, and we're up to 6 of the 100 now complete. And we're going to get green, we say, next time by. And Neil Bonnet, working alongside, is going to be here with you with the Champion Spark Plug 300. The issue here is the tires, and if they are hard and there's some inexperience here, we may see more of this.
Well, hopefully we won't. We wanted to see some excitement, but I was looking for the excitement we saw last week, the side-by-side racing. Hopefully when this thing shakes out here and these guys get good things under control, this is a good close racing.
Last of the cars on pit road are just about to come out. Looking down below, Dennis Setzer's car has been in there. I think he's lost a lap. The 17 machine of Junior Franks from Asheville, North Carolina. They're still working on the right side of that car. Here's the pit, the running order at this time, and it looks to me, I thought they are going to bring the pace car in. For a moment, I thought he was going to stay out. He took a dart to the outside.
If he stays out there, he might have a shot at the race or keep thinning him out.
Pace car is on pit road, and we're back underway as they come by this time. Clock's on the point. 7 laps complete. 7 of 100. Major altercation at turn number 4. We're back on the break now. Turn 1. You see Mark Cox going right back out at another time. He has led from the point from the beginning. Cox stays up in front. The 19 stays right there in second. Tim Bender taking his time. Now Bender goes to the bottom of the racetrack as he goes for first place. Bender coming up on the bottom.
I think after what they saw a while ago, the front's the place to be. They're going to try to get up there.
Tim Bender takes on the 66 and Jerry Knowles, who started third. Now back straight away. Bender has won 2 events here, looking for 3 in this Super Speedway Sportsman Series. Here's the 66 up into second. Jerry Knowles. Coming down out of turn number 4. 10 laps complete. This time, car number 8. Robbie Faggart started inside of row 3. The Sportsman event this past Sunday. There was a challenge being developed on Faggart's position as they go down the backstretch. The 93 car, which had started outside of the front row, that's Tim Hepler from Statesville, North Carolina, making a move on Faggart, and Faggart pulls away once again, maintaining that 3rd position. The 81 car, Todd Bodine, he's up into 5th. That is not the 66 car that's running in second, although it's painted somewhat the same. He's scrambled a little further back here. Keep your eye on that number 8. Robbie Faggart of Concord, North Carolina, won 11 of, I believe, 22 main events a year ago on that track. That's tough racing. That's good.
I'm telling you, it's good. It's a good learning process for the guy, and he's jumped on this big track and runs awful strong.
That's rival car number 8, who continues to fend off Hepler. 3 other contenders right behind him. No 9 takes this time, but I guess everybody has a little more respect for this facility at this point, Neil.
Well, I think that it's going to take a little more feeling out for him than it did last week in the race. They're under a lot different conditions right now, and I'm sure that wreck really got their attention. There was quite a few cars demolished.
Looking at the battle for 3rd. Faggart is there. Hepler right behind him. Then Bodine in the 81, and Bodine draws to the bottom of the track. Takes a look there. Back across the line as they complete their 12th of 100 laps. Hepler down to the inside of the 93. And it's set outside of the front row. Going to get back up in front. Tim Hepler of Statesville, North Carolina, running side by side with Robbie Faggart in the Perfection Plus Chevrolet.
Oh, he got it all sideways right there.
A lot of wind through the door that time.
This has been their strong suit, to be able to race side by side and really mix it up.
stick him where you want to stick it on the outside?
Well, the 8 car has been able to run up there. He's the only car I've seen that likes the outside real well. He ran good there the other day. And I think they're going to find out that top's going to be a good place to get once they get the feel of the car.
Todd Bodine is now the challenger on Faggart. And there is a big interval between the first and second place cars and this third place car, the black number 8. Here's Todd Bodine closing ground another time. Wild 13-car incident. Had a red flag out. Fortunately, no one hurt in the incident. A lot of equipment torn up. Here you see the 93. Stroll trying to get back up to where it was at the outset of the race. Tim Hepler. And we've got a spin in the main straightaway. We'll be back with more on that story in a moment.
I think that's one of them. You must have thought this was the OK Corral, this green stuff out here.
There's now a 5-car battle for third.
5-car battle, and see if they keep running side by side. I mean, you need to come back and identify. In fact, why don't you start right here and then show us who the leader is. This is a pretty good fight. Like Cox is just getting away. You need to show us the pattern between these leaders in this race.
That guy races hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does. Nine's wise to pull back in, isn't he, and just tuck in.
Well, the hard tires hurt him the other day. He ran like the devil.
This for third spot. Bodine on the inside of the 81, Faggart on the outside of the 8. For about 3 laps, they settled down and ran nose to tail. Bodine willing to let him go, and now they're back at it side by side as the leaders continue to draw away. That's the battle taking place for third spot as they come around next time for 20 laps complete. The leader continues to be Mark Cox out in front with the second place man, Jerry Tyrone Jordan. Faggart, who won on Sunday in a Sportsman race prior to running of the Winston, is having just a dandy scrap with number 81, young Bodine. And there you see the rest of that contingent running for position. Mark, here they come for, I say Mark Cox, that's incorrect. Let me correct that right now. Tim Bender's 19, which stays in front. Cox is back there in that collection of 5 cars. Tim Bender back there on the end of the 5, so that red car, which had been on the pole, got a little swirly. He fell back, and the leader at the present time is the man who won it.
Oh, we're going to try 3 abreast here, see how that works. That might be a new approach to turn 3 right there.
Let's see if they can stay. Woo. That 81 is Bodine. Here they come for 21 complete this time by.
Well, they settled down for 1 lap in line. Now they decided side by side for a while. You can't tell me that's not good training for these guys on a big track like that, learning to field these race cars.
Bodine works on these cars all the time now. He works in a Grand National car. Ted Condor's team. And here he is pulling a small lead on car number 8 and falling back again. As Bender continues to lead, and the 66 car, Jerry Knowles, stays in second. Back again they come. Caution is coming out another time. We have caution on the track. It may be some debris. I don't think anybody spun at this point. But there is a caution with 22 laps complete. Say turn 3 has some debris, and they want to get safety crews out there to take care of that before we move on.
Well, there's a good chance for debris because it's hanging all over a lot of these race cars in that first accident.
Big advantage for these guys running in third to catch back up with Tim Bender and with number 66, Jerry Knowles, who have pulled out to a big advantage. They lose it all here. Yep. Yep.
Spider 646, fifth con. Main straightaway, fifth con line.
Looks like he could get cold to Smith & Wesson sponsoring.
Okay. Okay.
You know what? I can't believe Wyatt Earp can't get cold for Smith & Wesson, somebody's sponsoring.
Yeah, Mark Cox. Okay. Thank you.
That's Bender leading.
Yeah, and then the 66, Jerry Knowles.
Pit. 8 and 81 are on pit road. We have 1 lap to green.
1 lap to green. The activities on pit road. Down there is the number 31 car, Mark Cox, who set on the pole, and they've just turned the key off on that machine. Mark Cox having some trouble, and I think he's about to get out of the car. And the 2 drivers that have been having that ding-dong battle, Bobby Faggart and Todd Bodine, who had started side by side in row 3, have both pitted. Apparently they think they can go home from here if it stayed green. Let's go to Charlie Harville.
I'm in the pits of Mark Cox. He has had some difficulty. The car is smoking. They lifted the hood, looked at it, shut off the engine. Then they cranked it up again for a few seconds, turned it off once again, and right now are just now raising the hood to look at it again and see what's causing the steam, apparently, which is rising from inside the car. Mark has taken the screen down, but he's still sitting in the car and hopes they can get it fixed. We'll have to wait developments.
It's an old Darrell Waltrip Winston Cup car that Mark Cox is driving, and he gave up his short track car and put all his effort into this number 31 to get this kind of experience. It's unfortunate that he's down like this so early in the race. 25 laps complete when they come by this time, and they'll be getting green as they come to the line. Bender is out in front. He's had a phenomenal story to tell. That man had spun as we were leaving here 4 minutes ago. Did not bring out the caution, just went through the grass and continued on his way. Was Wyatt Earp the 4th.
Yes, Wyatt Earp was going to OK Corral. I tell you, I'm just asking why did they have no for Smith & Wesson responding. Smith was bound to be a cheering for him.
Bender and Jerry Knowles run first and second, Neil, as they spring him out into the back straightaway. 50-mile race, this 1.5 track. Coming around, Tim Bender out in front, Knowles in the second position, and working their way from the rear of the field are the 8 and the 81. They've got a lot of running to do to get back into this thing. Currently, the number 66 stays in second spot, and pulling up into third will be car number 59. Pete Pistone out of Charlotte, North Carolina. One of Tiger Tom Pistone's kid, having himself a run in third place. Got a spin and turn number 2, and it's going to collect some cars. They're scattering, trying to get around down that back straightaway. And this is going to bring out still another caution, as 3, 4, 5 cars are involved in this one. There you see that 81 car just righting itself and getting back underway. Todd Bodine got in that one. There's the 92 car. Peter Gibbons from up in Ontario. Very good short track runner. Here's Todd Bodine's car coming about. And they've got 3 more cars that are inactive on the back straightaway. They've taken a lot of damage out there again, Neil.
Well, I tell you, they're working on the sheet metal in those frames today. That looked like a car got sideways in front of them, and then they started stacking up again. But sometimes it's just totally unavoidable, and that's what that one looked like.
One car still smoldering out there from this incident. Driver looks like he's trying hard to catch his breath. It really took a lick right behind the Gibbons car. And I think that's number 78 that's had trouble. That would be the Gary Bradbury car, Chelsea, Alabama. Chelsea, Alabama. Let's see if we can see again what happened here coming out of turn 2, 25th lap.
One of the guys up front lost it. These other guys were trying to drive the car around them. And then the car starts clogging the racetrack up again, and they're getting on the brakes. There's one car coming through real fast, but the guys were doing a good job. That car is just sitting right in the middle of the racetrack and nowhere to go. And once you turn that car down off of that banking and hit below that white line there on the flat, you don't have any control at all. The car is virtually gone. The banking holds the racetrack. When you lose that, you're going around.
I believe it was the Gibbons car that we first saw break away, the Canadian driver, Peter Gibbons at number 92. And they seem to be taking your advice or thinking more about that business of not getting on the binders, but there was so much equipment back there, and the hole gets real small out of turn number 2.
Well, I can't do a whole lot of coaching. I've sat on that very wall right there with one wadded up a lot worse than that in that very place on the racetrack. It's going to happen every now and then. Sometimes it's unavoidable.
From another viewpoint, another angle, let's see what happened.
Here they are coming off 2.
Fender coming by. See that
There's
car.
the car sideways up there. He almost cleared the track, but the problem, the banking has cleaned it off. It'll shoot it on the bottom, and then the momentum carries it back across the track. And that smoke, when those guys push through there, there's no way to see what's in front of you from the other side, so they're virtually blind coming into that smoke.
And there was some very good driving there.
Yes,
it
sir.
could have been a bigger incident than what we saw at turn 4 back on the 4th and 5th laps of this event. They're continuing to pick up the equipment out there. And it appears that number 78, the 78, I think that's Gary Bradbury, or they had listed 2 number 78s for this event. Let's go back down through our potential list of candidates for the 78 number in this event, and that would be Gary Bradbury. And it started in 10th. Looks like he's favoring one leg a little after all.
We just got word that all the drivers are okay. Charlotte Motor Speedway has one of the best facilities for the hospital with Dr. Petty and all the guys that work here, and they're going to check those guys real good before they ever move them off the wall over there. So it's a good word to hear that everybody's in good shape. You know, the cars don't look too good, but it's nice to know the drivers are all right.
That's Richard Jarvis from Ocean City, Maryland. He's pretty firm with the use on the front of that car.
Yeah, they mentioned a while ago that these are old Winston Cup cars, ex-Winston Cup cars. They'll be at a premium, the ones when these guys get through, and they're going to need some new ones.
30 laps complete this time by. Well, it's a lot like what we saw out here last year. The inexperience really showing, but a good opportunity to get this out of your system and get yourself some experience before you move up into Grand National, where the cars are considerably more expensive, and jog along at a faster clip.
Yep, I might cover them a little bit. I'm a driver, and I'm going to go on their side of it. I'm going to tell you that last week I saw racing side by side, 2 and 3 abreast, with no problems at all with a tire that they wanted for this racetrack, and they had to go because of a little bit of a problem. They had to go with something hard, and it's making these guys have to drive a little bit different than they did last week. They certainly got their hands full.
Charlie Harville
This is the number 31 car, Mark Cox. They have just bypassed the oil cooler. The oil cooler was leaking at the start of the race. They said the car was loose, and they found the reason. The leak in the oil cooler was putting oil on the left front tire. That'll make them lose, won't it, Neil? And they found out it was the oil cooler, brought it in, now have bypassed the oil cooler. Hope the car won't get too hot the rest of the race. Mark is back in it, getting buckled up, the hood being buckled down, and they're ready to go back on the track.
Hey, this is like some of those old-time races at Darlington, Charlie, where you could come from 4 or 5 laps back. And the way this one has started, that well could happen, although it's only 100 laps and we're in 30. But we've had 2 lengthy cautions and some serious crashes that have really reduced the field. It may not be a question of who's going to win, but who's going to finish out here in this one.
I was kidding about Elmo Langley winning with the pace car, but he might.
We'll be back with more of the Wiscassett 150 in a moment. Let me see it. Okay, but what do I? Oh, he won. His record's now 18-1. I wouldn't do more than 20 or 30 seconds. Okay. And let me lead to it. So I'll say let me lead to it. Okay. Yeah.
Warm and professionalism you're all going to exude tonight. A word of caution. The guy's breaking.
How many cars? How many? Just replay the race. .32 of 100 laps are complete here at Charlotte. The red car on the outside is the machine that started on the pole. Mark Cox, he has come back on the track several laps down. The Peter Gibbons car, the last car to be picked up, is being brought back to the garage area after 6 cars were involved in this last incident. 27 cars are still on the track. Let's look again at what happened in turn 2.
Here we are with the car already broken loose coming off the second turn, right down on the flat part of the racetrack. Watch it shoot the car back up. The momentum carries it up, and everybody's stacked up all over the track right now.
That's Peter Gibbons that had the first problem, and he initiates all this activity afterward. And again, report is the drivers have come through this in good shape, but it certainly has abused a lot of equipment once again. The number 81 was involved in the incident. Todd Bodine's car, he scraped out of it and kept on going and has not lost a lap, we understand. Roger Bustler's car was hit in that incident. The Len Vale car got caught up in it. The 68 machine of Richard Jarvis was there. Also, the Gibbons car, which started, and the Gary Bradbury car out of Alabama. So the cars involved in that as you look at it again.
Well, I tell you, you hate to see these boys have some problems out there, fall out of the race. Get these things put back together, and they'll have something under the belt.
Going green this time by, and Todd Bodine has been in and out of the pit 3 times under this caution period. They continue to try to get his car back into racing trim. Field coming around. I think we're going to get a green this time. There you see they're looking under the back end of Bodine's number 81.
I think in that last deal he got a little shot in the rear. He lifted, somebody popped him in the rear, and they're going to see what messed up out of there.
On the restart, the leader will be car number 66 after some pit stops up in front. Bender pitted, so Knowles will have the advantage. Rolling in the second spot as they come to the line, getting ready for that green flag to fall. Richie Petty will be in second spot.
There is a little bit of Petty blue on there, isn't it?
Across the top, black on the bottom. There you see it. The 81 car. Catch this back up in front.
They kind of waved it off about wondering about the fuel mileage. A lot of guys took advantage of this to go and top the cars off, and the ones that's already got it behind them are here to them right now.
I'll tell you, the interesting run is Robbie Faggart. Remember, he came all the way up doing about 4 laps through all that traffic and got through that altercation over in turn number 2. Here he is challenging up on the outside, and whoa, he takes it close to the wall, gets it back down to the inside again.
He went over to challenge just cleaning the wall off on up there in turn 4. He swept it pretty good.
Dusting.
Yeah, dusting it off. But I tell you, be a factor for this thing's over.
Black car, number 8, running in third. Whole tire coming apart, or fender coming off of Richie Petty's car. You can see parts and pieces flying off that car. Here's the 14 down on pit road, and the Elmhurst, Illinois runner, Jim Partillo's machine, in trouble.
Richie Petty's still laying in there with him. See what happens with it.
Sure looked like that car was getting in.
Maurice, one of the great men of Winston Cup racing, one of the great engine builders and crew chiefs of the past, but not a crew chief now. What do you tell him while he's racing?
Tell him right now to run his own race. Don't worry about nobody else. Run his own crew. Just be safe.
Did you build that car?
What?
Did you build that car?
Kenny Misco did. Yeah, right.
You had a little input into it.
Do I?
You had some input into it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we all work together. It's not a one-man show.
Maurice Petty involved in what's going on the track right now.
And Maurice Petty has his hands full and his rearview mirror as well. As Faggart in the number 8, Robbie Faggart of Concord, North Carolina, stays right with him. The 4th car with that green hood is Metzger, the New York driver. Now here comes Faggart on the outside. Car number 41 down across the line to complete 38 laps.
He likes to top that road. They get in that corner so hard for these 2-barrel carburetors. They virtually hold them wide open all the way around the racetrack, and it's hard to get the car to turn right in the middle of the corner.
Robbie Faggart will run by scant inches here on Sunday after running 10 laps side by side. Now has in his sights the leader, and Richie Panch here in the 41 is back in 3rd spot. There's the leader, the white machine of Jerry Knowles. Intervals about 25 car lengths, 1st to 2nd. And here's last year's winner. There's Bender in the 19. Remember, he made a pit stop, and he continues to needle his way through traffic.
He's picking off about 1 or 2 cars a lap. When he gets to him, he goes on around him, so he'll be in the front for long.
That's Bender trying to get back into it. A caution would be a very big plus for him. And also for car number 81, who continues to run half a lap down to the entire lead pack. That would be young Bodine. The leader, Knowles, stays out in front. 27 cars still on the track. There's Metzger. Right behind him is the 54. That's the scramble that's going on. That's Tuck Trentham in that 54 car. Knowles, and definitely closing as they come off that banking is car number 8. Guy can really run.
He runs good. But in the contact shot that Tim Bender is really making a run on his guys. He's confident.
Leader Knowles out of turn 2 and closing on every lap is Faggart. Here's number 66. Wants 2 in a row. 3rd place is Richie Petty. 4th place is Metzger. Big incident coming up down here in turn 4. We got a spinner. I think it's Bender. in the 19 as he was making a run. No caution is out. He loops it. He's trying to get her going and get it back on the track. 3 cars were running side by side. He picks it up. There's no caution, and he's back underway. How about that for Tim Hepler?
I'll tell you what, he was grabbing some gear, shifting around. He got hung up with a 54 car coming off the corner. They bumped together.
And the 0 car.
He did a good job. He almost corrected the car back out on the racetrack to straighten it up. He's going to keep going.
Didn't lose a lap. Stays right in it. No caution on the track. 43 laps complete. Take a look at what happened. Yeah, we've got another spinner down at turn 4. Another car goes all the way around the 430. He's lining up on the track. There's no caution out. Here's what happened just a lap ago in this wild one.
I'll tell you what, he lost the car, but right here he made the right decision. His car starts out, he turns it back down off the racing surface. Any movement to the right, you shoot back out in the track and traffic. He held it down, and the other car just spun. We haven't had a caution with 2 spins. These guys are at least keeping him off the track.
That was Luck Trentham, and he was involved the lap before with a 19.
Well, in a deal like that, sometimes when you bump like that, you might barely cut a tire down, lose a little bit of air out of it, and then the next lap around, you'll lose your race car. So when you get together, you've almost got to pit. Bender in, putting the pieces on that thing, tearing some off, going to turn him loose again.
Going down a lap now. 44 laps complete, and away goes Bender. Losing a lap after this altercation. It saw him spinning down out of turn number 4, and then the 54 with whom he was involved the previous lap spun in almost the identical same spot up on the 4th turn. Tuck Trentham. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, Tim Bender came into the pits, took on both right side tires, and he did have some body parts loose on the front grill area. They tried to take him off, could not get it off, so he's going to have some loose body work on the front grill area.
Here you see Bender coming back up to speed, and the aerodynamics not quite what they were before, and I would presume they matter on these cars as much as others. Look at this. Here's the fight for first. Knoll stays in front, and the 8 car keeps picking up ground. Not the dramatic big jumps he made a little earlier cutting through traffic, but now he gathers up some steam and pulls to within a car and a half length of the leader.
I tell you, when you make a move on a guy like that, your car might be gaining on, but all of a sudden the driver gets a little confidence. When he sees that move, their car closing the gap, then he can get a little bit more out of that race car. So he smells that thing, and he's going to get mixing up with it. Richie
Pants lies about 20 car lengths back in 3rd, and here they go. Fighting for first and down to the inside around a smoky number 54. The Trentham car goes number 8 fighting for the lead. Down to turn 3. Still side by side. Knowles comes back on the outside. Baggert and the 8 on the bottom of the racetrack. Watching it live here on Prime from the great Charlotte Motor Speedway, and this is a knockdown drag out for the lead in the Wiscassett 150. Knowles goes back up in front again.
This is what we saw all day the other day, mixing it back and forth. You can't just run off. They're handling, they're working the cars hard right now.
Richie Petty back there in the 3rd spot. Stays in that 3rd spot. Richie Petty about 25 car lengths back from this pair.
Again, I think one thing we seen the other day, they've repeatedly made that turn down off turn 4. You can pull it off. They can put the cars in where they want to. They're having a little bit more trouble today. Here's the 66 car slipping around. They're just not able to get a hold of the racetrack as well, but they're adapting to it pretty good now.
And if these two continue to fight up in front, Richie Petty gets a chance to move back up on those leaders.
I'm asking about aerodynamics while they're doing the design of the car. As soon as that car gets behind him, he's making that car loose. The closer he gets behind him, the looser he gets. And in turn, both of them are slowing down. Richie Petty should be able to pull up on him.
Right now, Richie Petty is gaining ground. He's picked up 3 or 4 car lengths, but the story is right here in this incredible battle. It's going on to the lead. The 66 right up in front, going around some of those cars back. Oh, Knowles had to collect it. Almost got out from under it.
Those cars never touch, but it's just the same. When the car runs up under the back of the other one, it actually lifts the rear of that car. You can hit him and do the same damage as just driving up behind him like that. He's got his hands full hanging on the lead.
Baggert, he ran some Daytona Dash races some time ago, and he's going for the lead. He's got it for the moment. Knowles has been down before and come back. Let's see if he can do it here. Richie Petty lies 3rd. I may have said Richie Panch. Of course, I thought he was going to be one of the all-time greats. Sorry when that plane went down to Darlington. Found a little like. Wish he was out here. So, but Richie Petty is closing on these two. He has pulled back to within 15 car lengths of the 2 leaders. So, car number 8 stays front. Fighting his way back as he did just this past Sunday. It's Faggart out in front. Knowles in second place in a ding-dong. Wiscassett 150.
Again. That thing's giving him trouble down here, isn't it?
Yeah. That. Okay, which is 93 and all of that, right?
That's a shame for those guys. They have to run it.
Yeah. On the other hand, they can run that. They can probably run the others better.
Oh, yeah.
But it is a shame.
That's what took away from the quality of it.
Yeah. What time are we supposed to be on? We're not going to be too bad, are we? Show us that battle for second. That's... Back with you once again. 54 of 100 laps have been completed in the Wiscassett 150 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Big crowd out for pole position qualifying day. We haven't had an official number, but it looks to be a record. And they saw Ken Schrader take the pole with Alan Kowicki's Ford into second spot. Chevrolet will be on the point for this year's 600. And right now you're seeing car number 8 continuing to stay out in front. Faggart has fought his way to the lead in just dramatic fashion. Mark Martin into second place today. Mark Martin is up for the outside of the front row in the Coca-Cola 600. Alan Kowicki right there with him in third.
We've got the ideal matchup for the fans. We've got Chevrolet versus Ford, just what the guys want to see in the center of the road.
And it ought to be a dandy when it gets going this Sunday here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. For the moment, Faggart in the 8 has a little bit of an advantage. Let's go to Charlie Harvin.
And I'm here with his crew chief, Frog Fagan. What is Robbie telling you now, Frog?
Well, we started out of the race, we had a little push. We made a stop, got some fuel, and I took several rounds of fight out of the car, and now he's saying it's pretty good. He got back to the front.
You don't have to worry about fuel.
No, we're pretty good on fuel. We're pretty good all the way, and he seems to be opening up a little bit of a lead, so if nothing fails on the car, I think he's got another chance to win this one.
Okay, that's Frog Fagan, crew chief for the leader, Robbie Faggart.
Well, he's looking mighty strong now as he continues to just draw away from the field. But as he does, the man with whom he battled earlier in the race, maybe his problems. Let's look further back in the field. Here you see the 0 car on the outside. That's that yellow and green machine. Had been running in fourth, and he's under a tremendous challenge. It's being exerted by Jerry Rector. And that fight that's going on is for 9th position. Here they are coming back to the line. 17 cars remaining on the lead lap.
I tell you what, you know, we scattered them out all over the place, but if they keep running like this and stay on the lead lap and they regroup these things at the end, we have quite a show. The 8 cars are so strong. He's been good all week long. In the second place, they got quite a race going back there. They could group this thing back up here in a minute.
See that Pistone car trying to fight it out among them.
There's one in the wall.
We've got one slapping the wall up here in turn number 4 and trying to get back off it again. Back he comes, the 84. Let's see what he's done to the aerodynamics on that one. It really took a lick. It's crumpled it badly on the right right side of the machine, trying to get it. He's done a good job of controlling it because he bashed it pretty hard into the wall. No caution is out. He's eased it down to the inside of the track. He's continuing around one, although he gets it back up on the banking. Not exactly the best place to be in that condition, running that slowly.
I'm not sure he's got a whole lot of control. He's on a couple of flats, and he did a good job up here in 3 and 4. If he can, the towing is knocked out terrible. That front wheel's knocked way out of the car, and it's hard to drive like that. He can just get it back around here.
Gosh, look at the front end on that car. There isn't any towing left on that one. Gardner, number 84, scrambling to get it back and see if he can do anything to get back in this race. Give him A for determination. Baggert in the 8, continuing to lead as he comes around to complete 60 laps. Has himself about 25 car lengths now on Jerry Knowles in second. Richie Petty has been in that 3rd spot for the past 15 laps. He lies 10 car lengths back from number 66. And then number 11, Teague, has moved up into 4th, followed by Pete Pistone in number 59 and 5th, and Helper, who started outside of the front row, in 6th. Around the number 99 goes your leader. Lee Tissett goes another lap down. That's the first lap down on Tissett. He was not involved in those incidents. That's the first time he's been caught up out here this afternoon. 40 laps remaining. Going a little further back in the field, Jerry Rector is 8th. Robert Huthman is 9th. Bill Metzger has now fallen to the 10th spot at number 0. Leader continues to be walking backward. And as opposed to the Sunday race, when he ran a whole race with heavy competition all around him and ran those last laps side by side, he pretty much dominates out here today. Here's the 66 in second place, lapping number 99, Jerry Knowles. And now you get an interval between the first place, the black car, and the white car in second. Then the blue and black car is Richie Petty, maintaining 4th spot. Richie's car got collective hard crash down here a year ago in this event. Nice to see him having a good afternoon. Good for his dad, Maurice Petty, as well. Very proud of Richie and his effort.
Maurice kind of shying off if he had anything to do with that car. I guarantee you put the motor in that thing. He knows the motors.
Looks to me like Knowles is gaining a little ground back here.
I believe he is. It looks like he's coming on up a little bit.
One thing about it with those hard tires, they stay up for this race.
And when those guys spun well, though, they flat spotted the racetrack, not the tires.
Battle for 5th spot. There you see Pistone being challenged by Scott Jochum in the yellow number 15. That is Jochum in the 15 right there with him in turn 1. And Pistone doing a good job. Remember those great battles that Tiny Lund and Tiger Tom used to have? Best of friends, but they really knocked each other around a lot of racetracks.
You didn't have to stick around and come up and tell you about it. All you wanted to hear.
Here's Charlie.
I'm here with Tiger Tom Pistone, one of the real great men of Winston Cup racing, one of the pioneers. And Tom, are you the car owner of this car? Are you the car owner, Tom?
My son Pity owns the car, and I'm a nervous wreck. I just can't handle this. When I was racing, I had all my kids taking care of me in the pits. Now I got all my grandsons in the pits with me. I'm getting old.
Well, you're talking to him all the time. What are you telling him?
Well, I'm trying to give my father's advice. Take it easy. Don't go too hard. But if the guy hits you, get him back.
Don't hit the family car, right?
Don't hit the family car. Bring it back. Now, Pity's a good driver. I'm just a nervous wreck. That's all there's to it.
All right, hang in there. Tiger Tom Pistone. Never seen you nervous. Okay.
Ken, I tell you what they're doing. They're just getting even with him for the misery he gets down a few years back. He's a character.
Sure is. If there was ever a prankster in the role of Weatherly, it was Pistone to pull on. Here he is, Pete Pistone, another generation out here, holding 5th, and there you see that 15 car of Scott Jochum back in the 6th spot, and right with him comes Helper. Helper just a little further back. Red car with that yellow bumper.
I believe Jerry Knowles is beginning to reel the front car in a little bit. As this thing progresses and the heat gets in all these tires, I think we're going to see everybody kind of close the heat of the tires.
66 laps are now down. reporting 15 cars in the lead lap. As we watch Pistone still try to hold his position. Riding 5th on the field, the 15 right there with him. And the 96, Robert Huffman, has moved around Helper. He is in 7th spot, that white car. There's your leader. Baggert has the lead. And we'll show you by how much. He tries to put this one 2 in a row. What a time he's having. He's already had 2 main event wins down at the Concord Speedway in North Carolina, where he won 11 a year ago. Gives you some idea of the ground that Knowles has to make up as we see number 8, Baggert, come by another time. He's in the real estate business over in Concord, and he left the Speedway here in '85. All he wants to do is race. He's sure driving a beautiful race right now. With 68 complete, we'll pause for these messages and be back with more of the Wiscassett 150 this afternoon from the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Right behind the 6611 is closed up right in passage.
Does it look like that right front is a little snarled on car number 8? Look at this time by. Can you take us back first to second to third to show us those intervals next time back? To 4th. Ah.
And then 11 cars started 32nd.
Thank you.
Where did 11 start?
Way back, 32nd, I think. Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
He's second now.
Yeah. It's changed. Ralph after. Go to Ralph after. Establish and go to Ralph. Well, it'll be a battle for the lead now. He's blown second, clear out.
He's liable to run him down.
Yeah. Caution is again on the track. Robert Huffman from Claremont, North Carolina, has just spun in turn 2. It's a single car incident. It comes on the 71st lap, and it's going to set up a wild finish, because while Robbie Faggart has been pulling up, taking big advantage over the rest of the field, another guy named Kerry Teague in car number 11 has just over the past 4 or 5 laps blistered everybody. He started 32nd, and all of a sudden he just came through traffic. Now Kerry Teague is another one of those Concord racers. They build him good on that racetrack. The other night they had that double feature where they started the first half of it up front off time trials, then inverted the field. And I'll tell you what Kerry Teague did. He came from 16th to 2nd, about 25 or 30 laps, and he in car number 11, there's a lap car in front of him, has pulled himself back up to challenge a contender he faces every Saturday night, Robbie Faggart. This is going to be a spectacular finish. And these two guys have seen each other a lot.
And before that caution came out, he was making leaps and bounds to the front. He came out of nowhere and was running the leader down. So if he can get up there close to him on this restart, it could get real interesting.
So the number 8 comes by as the lead car. Here's the number 11 machine that has become the new story of the race. And the 48 car we have as a lap down, Len Vale. One lap, they're going to turn him loose, Neil.
Yeah, and I'm going to get up on the edge of my seat here. This might get good. This 11 car really made a run up through the pack. Was closing on before the caution came out. He should have been in good shape now.
Well, what you said at the very outset, back at the beginning, this is where they really get a chance to perform in front of a gigantic audience but it's a lot. It's still the same folks they race in front of every Saturday night down here in North Carolina, and to have 2 North Carolinians go up in front, hey, it's like the old days when the Isaacs and the Setzers were at it. This is going to be a great show.
Just like you said, they raced last weekend, and they're fixing to get a chance right now.
Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Andy Knowles is a crew chief for his brother Jerry. Now, he just got through telling me that Jerry's car's become very, very loose, and it's getting worse with each lap. So although this car is a former race winner for Winston Cup champion Rusty Wallace, it's definitely become a handful here today for Jerry Knowles.
And Ralph, the car that's up in front is an old Richard Childress car, about 4 years old, the number 8 car that Faggert's driving. As for the number 11 car, we'll stand by because this thing's ready to go. Imagine, he won the first one from the pole. Then when they inverted them, everybody thought, well, he'd be lucky to get in the top 5. He cranked, he'd give him, he said another 5 laps, he'd have had them all. Yeah. All right, we're getting ready to go back under green. 73 laps complete. Down towards the final 25 this afternoon in our final event of pole position qualifying day, the 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we have seen Mark Martin's Ford go to the outside of the front row for the 600 on Sunday, and Ken Schrader plank a Chevy right up in front. Back straightaway, and a big jump by Robbie Faggart as they go down the backstretch.
It's surprising he'll be able to stay right with him. Maybe if he gets it wound up, he'll be there with him.
There's the 66. That's Knowles in third, and then the black and blue car. That's Richie Petty running fourth. Scott Joachim in the 5th place. Number 15 and number 59. Pete Stone lies 6 on this restart. And you're right, Neil, after they come back up to speed, but he's got some going to do with now just 25 laps remaining. Car number 11, Kerry Teague, is trying to take back some ground from the leader, Taggart.
I think his strong suit was the longer they ran, the better he got. If they can get a long run going here, he might be able to gain on him again.
First, second, third, fourth in your picture, and 5th now as they come down out of turn 4. Richie Petty just loose for a moment, gets it back.
Tim Bender's coming up through there. He's checking his laps down, but the car's still at the speed that he had to start the race.
Back straightaway, and Faggart's beginning to feel some heat. Teague is closing. 8 is your leader, the white number 11 in 2nd spot. Don't forget, on Prime this Saturday, most of these same systems will be seeing live the champion Spark Plug 300 from the famed Charlotte Motor Speedway. Greatest names in stock car racing go at it in 2 150-mile segments. Back to turn 1. Power seems to lie with that 2nd place car. Look at him grab ground as he goes through 1 and 2.
He's really got that little car working in the middle of the corner. Fixing to see what we do with him here.
Back straightaway, challenge for the lead. Down to the inside goes Teague.
This is going to take some tiptoeing through forward. This is where we've had all the trouble right here.
Here they are, side by side. Faggart on the outside. Teague on the inside, wheel to wheel. Down they come to the line. 78 complete. Faggart back out in front. Back to turn number 1.
Temporarily out front.
Very temporarily. Teague has it again on the inside. Teague busting through on the bottom. And here's Bender trying to take a lap back. He'd like to get in there and see if he can make one up with a caution late in the going. Bender in the 19 car. Turn 3. Bender still looks tough. Too bad he had to go a lap down.
Yeah, he's awful strong. Right now he's in the middle of the 1st and 2nd place guy, but in a situation like that, he's not holding anyone up. He's able to pull away from the 2nd place car, so he's not a factor in that. He's probably going to go around the 1st place guy and get one of those laps back.
We're checking to make sure that Bender only went 1 lap down. Because if there is a late caution the way he's running right now, he could be a he made up what 2-3 laps in one of those Winston Cup races.
Yeah, I made up a few. He also had that opportunity and spun him out and lost him again too.
Here he goes for the inside. He is 1 lap down. So he's trying to make it up right now as he comes down the main straightaway. Trying to get back in the lead lap is Bender. Won here a year ago in both October and in May. He is there. Ralph Shaheen.
Richie for Kerry Teague. And he told us that as the car gets warmer and the tires start to heat up, that car really, really works well. So for Kerry Teague, now that he's back out front under green flag conditions, they're looking to pull away from the rest of the field.
Smart move by Faggart as he realized this battle up in front was getting a little loose. He tucked right in there, looking for a shot. Would you want to run that close when they're that loose, Neil?
I tell you what, these guys are doing a good job. Those cars are really wiggling around up in the middle of the corner. But I guess they've got a lot of trust. These two guys running side by side, race together every week, and I guess they know what they're capable of doing.
And Bender gets his lap back. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. He was 1 lap down. It's made up. Here he comes. Crowd loving this one. Here we go in a scrap for first again. Faggart on the inside. Teague on the outside, and Knowles is closed up, and Faggart is retaking the lead. Here comes 81 back into it. We have him as a lap down. We want to be sure about that one.
Well, these guys are doing like they did the other day. Now they're getting it sorted out. Some side-by-side racing.
Main straightaway. They're showing the 81 car up in this lead lap. The 81 car is with the leaders, that he has not gone down a lap. So Todd Bodine, and we've got one car that's coming down across the start-finish line, sowing some smoke, but I don't think it's going to bring a flag out. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. Everything is continuing A-OK in this battle up in front. Now Bodine comes in. He is not a lap down. All of these cars are in the lead lap. Bender is cleared away. He's 25 car lengths in front of them. He's praying somebody is... Oh,
here we go.
Almost had the trouble right there with Knowles. Oh, right, 66, loose in 4. That almost was Bender's break.
He wasn't just loose, he was loose.
Oh, and look at Faggart sideways. He's not going to make it. All the way around goes Faggart, and he's collecting 2 or 3 of the leaders. Now there's the caution. That's going to bring Bender around, and what a bad break for Robbie Faggart, the winner here on Sunday in that special event.
Not only does it bring the Bender back around, it's also eliminated one of the front cars, so he's going to be right in the middle of it.
3 cars down. He made 2 good saves and finally got out from underneath him. A couple of things will happen here. We've noticed that the 11 car on those restarts doesn't activate as well as they might hope. Well, we'll be back with more of this story in this Wiscassett 150 in just a moment from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Is this 15? 1-5.
I hated to see that the race was getting close.
That was a beautiful race. It's too bad.
Well, if Tiger was excited before, he's in the middle of it now. A little pissed on.
That number 53 cannot be correct. I can't find a 53 anywhere in anything. That number 53 cannot be correct. 53? That cannot be correct. There is no 53. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
This is a 100-lap race?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it was fixing to get excited.
Get that further back. Give me position on Helper when he crashed. Position on Helper when he crashed. 93, please, John. Thank you. We're back with you at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the action in the Wiscassett 150 has been full contact from the very beginning. 85 of 100 laps are down. There you see number 8. That is the Robbie Faggart car, which was battling for the lead when it got loose up in turns 1 and 2, collected 2 other cars and put us under caution at this time. We're back with you with 86 laps complete. And what a remarkable Wiscassett 150. We're heavy, Neil Bonnet. Robbie Faggart's car, number 8, battling for the lead, spinning in turns 1 and 2. Got out from beneath him, and 3 cars were involved, and it brings around a situation that is going to lead to one of those incredible Charlotte finishes. And Bender, who looked like he was out of it, could be a contender to win it all. Let's look at what happened up here to Faggart in the car, number 8. Here they are battling for the lead, Neil. Going around this slow car on the inside. Watch the outside car actually pulls the rear out from under the 8 car. And then once the car starts to swishing back and forth, Houdini can't save one of those things. It's gone. When you get it wiggling that bad, the car's going to get away from you. There was nothing he could do. Then we started stacking up cars again. These guys race so close that when one gets out of shape, it's going to be a multi-car race. Oh.
Rick.
Can we look at that again, folks, and watch number 81 only, Todd Bodine? I mean, everything that Neil Bonnet said about what a driver should do when they're starting to get in trouble is exactly what Todd Bodine did. It may be if you wanted to use an example, we look from another angle here, of this incident that took out the leader, Faggart, but the driving by Bodine was really quite good, Neil. That's the kind of thing that you need to do. It looked like impending disaster for Todd Bodine, and he saved it.
If you notice, Ken, there was no tire smoke or anything off his car. He was driving the car through the accident. Certainly, you know, sometimes you make that move, you make it, sometimes you don't. But he went through there, didn't get the car all locked up, and drove it right around the wreck. He did a good job.
Now, there it is. And now, as they come up the track, maybe late in the going, they're already down.
Yes, through there now.
They're already down, but it's moments before. Let's get down to the other Bodine brother and see if we can find it, because it's remarkable, and it's exactly what Neil Bonnet was telling you folks about a few moments ago. Down to the pits, let's see if we can find out how the Bodines feel about all this.
Well, Brett, your brother Todd just did a miraculous job of getting through some unlucky traffic on the backside. Is that anything that you can coach to him through the headset, or is that just some of that Bodine talent shining through?
Well, Jeff's out here in the infield, and on that last wreck, Jeff coached him through it. You know, fortunately, we got through, but, you know, with this caution flag, it's cutting into our time to try to get to the front. We need as much time as we can since we lost a couple spots on that mishap. So we're going to have to hope that we can get this thing race started so we can go ahead and try to get to the lead.
Well, you've been in a few incidents like that yourself. What's it like to stare down the backside of somebody when they're spinning around in front of you?
Well, you know, that just comes from experience. You got to try to experience your way through them, and he's getting some great experience out here. That's why we got him out here, try to teach him all this kind of stuff, and hopefully to further his career.
Todd Bodine is just one more of the Bodines looking to make it to the top.
Kerry Teague is out in front. Jerry Knowles is in second. Pete Pistone is third. Richie Petty is in fourth. And Marty Ward is in fifth. There are 88 laps complete. Look again and let Neil take you through it as to what this driver, number 81, just accomplished.
Well, he was right in the middle of it, and they went in this corner and said the back end's going to come out from under the 8 car. A lot of that's got to do with the draft, especially going around that slow car on the inside. Okay, the wreck is going to happen right there. You just can't save one when it gets that bad of shape. These guys are trying, the 81 car, he's right there, no brake smoke, nothing at all. They're banging around all over him. He's going to drive the car up the racetrack there. Certainly some luck involved with it, but I never saw the first bit of smoke off those tires. He kept them rolling. And now Jeff was probably out there flying remote control from what he said.
Well, however he flew him the right way. and I got to say, that guy, no matter who is flying him, he did a remarkable job. That's the Todd Bodine in number 81 with a terrific save out there as we get ready to go. And he is being shown, the number 81, in the 5th position as we get ready for a go.
1 lap to green.
1 lap to green. That's the count as they come back to the line.
That'll give us 10 to go. It should get exciting here at the end.
Now, one of the cars involved in that incident, that 3-car calamity, that last one, and it was really a hard hit, was Tim Hepler, the driver who started on the outside of the front row. His car, number 93, was the one that really came into Faggart's car, number 8, and that was definitely done for the day. The 15th car is also, Scott Jocum's car took some damage in that one as well. So as we get ready to go, 11 laps. In fact, Scott's car is being brought back right now, the number 15, after it was abused in that altercation down at turns 1 and 2. Okay, now we're down to back straightaway, organizing for a start. The car that we'll want to watch a little out here will be that car number 19, Neil, because Bender, all of us, can get back into it again.
He's got some work ahead of him. They're going to be stacked up pretty far back, but the lead car didn't seem to be able to take off so well on the restart. If he can make a move early, he's just got 10 laps to go, but he's still got a shot at him.
Here we are. Kerry Teague out in front. Jerry Knowles in second. Pete Pistone in third, number 59. And the blue and black car, number 41. Richie Petty is in fourth. As they come down the line, Green is out. Let's see how fast these cars hitch up. Down to the inside, 81 from fifth spot. Look at Bodine. Hug to the inside and go through. Down they go into turn number 1. Back straightaway. Here comes Bodine moving to the inside. They are reporting that now they're saying he's a lap down. They're showing him, as far as telling us, a lap down in that car.
What's showing on the board, 81.
Yeah, it's up there.
But he's running awful good.
Well, he sure is running well. Got to give him extra points just for the way he came through that incident. Here he is coming back to the line. The man out in front is number 11, Kerry Teague. The second place car, right there, Jerry Knowles in the 61. Here's the 81 being shown up there. Interesting. We're getting him from scoring. That's a lap down. Put him up on the board here as in second spot.
I bet you little Bodine's going to know he's in second spot. We're going to see what
he is too. Here they are coming back to the line. As they come out of turn number 4, there will be 8 laps to go in the race, and they're showing the 81 varying reports here as to his position on the track. There's no question as to where he is, the overall structure of things here. He's directly behind the leader. Kerry Teague is in front in the 11, and there you see the 81 car closing ground another time.
And out of the shot is Tim Bender making a serious charge up through there. I don't know if he's going to have time, but he's really picking them off.
That's Brett Bodine's wife, Todd's aunt, that you see there, very concerned as they come back to the line. And to the stripe, number 11 stays first, Kerry Teague. Trying to get a report to get it confirmed on car number 81. And they say from scoring that he is being shown as a lap down. That's not what we're seeing here on the board. Down the back straightaway. Here comes Bodine looking for the inside to make a run on the leader, Kerry Teague. Jerry Knowles, the white number 66, lies there. And moving through traffic all the time comes Bender. Bender is also closing ground. He's taken 4 or 5 cars. Can't get away from this lead battle right now. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Ken, we just had an opportunity to double check with Brett Bodine, and according to their scoring, Brett Bodine is battling on the lead lap and is fighting for first place right now.
Back they go into turns 1 and 2. 11 is in front. As the laps run out, Kerry Teague stays in front, and here comes Bodine to the outside. I have a hard time believing he's gone a lap down, but that's what they're reporting.
I guess we could overlook it, but I thought he was in the lead lap.
Here he is coming out of that corner. He certainly isn't giving any ground. The 66 car, that's Knowles right there, staying in that front pack. And then there's a big interval back to Pistone, who will be running 4th if, indeed, Bodine is in that lead lap. Back straightaway. Bodine thinks he's going for the lead. And now getting confirmed that he is running in second, Neil. Indeed, that is the story.
Well, he deserves it as hard as he's running. Let's put him up there and let him go for it.
Just on the basis of what he did in that incident we saw a few laps ago. This is for the lead. I couldn't believe it wasn't how he could get a lap down. Meanwhile, Bender in the 19 continues to clip through cars. He's closing up on Pistone. There's the 3 leaders. This is the fight for first place. Behind them, 96 laps have been completed. Bender is scurrying around cars. He's come all the way back to 4th. You hate to leave this one as Teague, Bodine, and Knowles continue to scramble up in front. There's the 19 car that's just moved up another spot. He's into 4th, and he is flying. Does he have time?
I don't know. There's just 3 laps to go when they cross, and I'm telling you, he's closing fast, but I'm afraid he's going to run out of time.
Well, there you saw the interval between the front 3 back to that 4th place car, and there are those leaders. And this Bodine kid, who has just done this remarkable job, stays right there. Hangs on to Kerry Teague in 1st, Jerry Knowles in the 66 in 3rd. Pete Pistone has fallen back as the 19 car has pulled all the way back around. Leaders down out of turn number 4 into the main straightaway. Laps running down. There'll be just a couple to go.
He really puts the heat on him right here in the middle. 1 and 2, it's going to make the 11 car real loose. He puts a lot of pressure on him right in the middle of this corner.
Down into turn number 2. Bodine waiting. Does he have any more that car can give him? Kerry Teague stays in front. Next time through, they'll be headed for pay dirt. Down out of turn number 4. Teague is your leader. Bodine in 2nd. Knowles in 3rd. Front 3 cars locked together. White flag is out. This is it to decide it. I wonder what the coaches on the Bodine team are saying right now to number 81.
He's got a shot at him on the inside. It's going to be interesting. He's got it up beside him.
Last lap for the lead. They tangle, and on the outside, Knowles is making a move. 11 withstands that blow, and it is Kerry Teague hanging on. Now to the inside comes Bodine.
Oh,
Bodine sliding, trying to get it back. He picks it up. Down they come out of turn 4. Knowles is closing. Bender hits the wall. Into the wall goes car number 66, Knowles. At the line, Teague will win it. Sliding across the line. Front end gone is Knowles. How about that?
What a finish. I tell you what, Tim Bender was making a move on the outside, had a lot of momentum, and they got hung up coming down through that short chute.
I want to see that again. Kerry Teague, he took a shot on the back straightaway. He never lifted. That looked like Neil Bonnet at Birmingham International. We'll be back with more of this incredible Wiscassett 150 in just a moment.